All right, Jeff, man, we have some awesome people with us today. Yep. We got Kevin Greenburg, Kevin Cost, Gen X, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
So we got three out of 4.
Yeah. 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
Yeah. Is that right? Yeah.
We're missing another Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You get
Cobble and
Jason.
We're the K's, the K's and the J's.
G-Wiz.
Off to a great start.
Our bass player extraordinaire.
That's right.
You should know who that is.
Yes, I should.
Yeah.
Yes. But we all know how my brain works.
Right.
So thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Jeff was telling me that when he booked this, we try to, create security blankets. So you guys are just backup on the side. If we have a cancellation, this might not make it to the air.
Perfect.
That's what Jeff told me.
Yeah, well,
So I was like, man, thanks for doing this.
I'll take my shirt off then.
And now they're looking for a new drummer. Thanks, Derek.
So yes, welcome to the studio. And I didn't really do any prep. We have some standard questions we can always lean back on, but we're just here to get to know each other and then talk about Gen X for real.
Sure.
So yeah, man. So let's start with Mr. Greenburg here, right to my left. Tell us a little bit about where you're from.
Well, I'm actually born in California. My dad was a Marine for 31 years, so I moved all the time. But we moved to Memphis in 1982, and that's kind of where I started here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
I heard the 80s were pretty fun here.
Very fun. It's a whole different ball game.
And we definitely want to run through all the different people you've played with.
Okay.
Because the usual suspects always come back up. But Cost, I'm going to go Greenburg Cost.
Okay.
Cost, where are you from?
Born and raised right here, Memphis.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Been here my whole life. Yep.
Cool. What was it like growing up here?
Oh, man, it's outstanding. I tell my daughter all the time, I wish she'd grown up in my era because it was great.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Jumping ramps and, when kids played outside,
So were you a ripe age for the 80s too?
Oh, absolutely.
Because you look very young, sir.
I appreciate that. No, I'm old.
Now, I found out about you through Max Patterson.
He's talking to Cost.
Mr. Cost, yeah. Well, they can see who I'm looking at, can't they? No, I guess it looks like I'm looking at everyone.
What about the person driving down the highway right now?
Oh, yeah. Well, those people don't count.
I'll play this for myself.
Shut up, man.
It's all good. So, yeah, Max knew that I was looking for to put a band together, and good vocalists aren't super easy to come by. And he said, why don't you check out Kevin Cost? And I didn't know you. And I looked up a video on YouTube where you did a thing with Donnie Smith.
Yes.
What was he calling those separate studios together?
Yep, that was during the COVID era.
COVID.
Oh, those are great.
And dude, I was like, yeah, I'm calling this guy.
He was awesome. I was like, wow.
That shit. It was so good.
I was thankful Donnie let me give that a shot. And it was fun.
It was
a lot of fun.
It was a great, was it an Aussie song?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No More Tears.
Yeah, No More Tears. And it was good.
It was a great way for y'all to still collaborate. In the
and a lot of people were doing it at that time.
Yes.
There were a lot of
live
videos,
performances.
A lot of videos made during that time.
Who else was in that particular video? Tell us.
Jimmy Folk.
Okay.
Played the drums. Yep. And obviously Donnie.
Yeah.
And a friend of his who I believe lives in New York now, but I believe was in a band with Donnie during that time.
Okay.
During some of his younger years, but I forget his name.
Okay.
Our friend Lance Binder was in a couple.
Yep.
Josh Haynes has done some.
Yep.
Yeah.
Josh did some stuff with Pete before.
Yeah. So anybody that's listening or watching this, if you haven't checked out on YouTube the separate studios together, go out and watch it. They took all kinds of songs and collaborated from different. Everybody was in their own studio.
Yeah.
And then they put it all together, and it was fantastic.
Josh did one, I think maybe two Rush songs on his channel
Spirit of Radio, maybe
with Pete.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Josh did
Subdivisions was one, I believe.
And Josh did everything else. He did all the instruments.
Amazing talents.
I know. It's crazy.
It's wild. So let's talk about, we'll go back to Greenburg, Mr. Greenburg.
KG.
So
we're in our text where we can't say Kevin because it might be Kevin Cost or Kevin Greenburg. We can't say Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff Ward, Jeff Cobble.
It might
so it's
be.
JC, KG, KC.
No doubt.
Jason's the only one that stands out.
Yeah, we just call him Jay.
So we played with Derek Joseph, 2 Dereks, 2 Jeffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But me and Derek spelled differently, so it was a little bit easier to decipher. But okay. KC. No. KG. KG. So talk about, now you're in the scene, you're in the 80s, and you start playing out. What are some of your bands? Who are you playing with?
I played with a version of Foreplay that was actually Danny Kennedy was the bass player, the original bass player. It was he, Junior Grant, my great friend, Mike Dedman, who passed last year, Danny Kennedy, he passed away also, and Ruthie Walden sang. And I played with those guys for a while. We toured all over the United States.
Wow.
Fun. Opened for some good bands like Head East and stuff, who were our good, our heroes back then.
What was the style?
Pretty much we were just 80s cover stuff. We did Kiss, Van Halen.
Mm-hmm. And we should mention you're a guitar player.
I am a guitar player, yes.
A very good one, too, sir.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes.
Agreed.
But,
And he is in the band because of Jeff Cobble. I didn't know Kevin Greenburg, and Cobble, we were kind of going back and forth, and Cobble was like, I know this guy. Let me reach out to him and see what happens. And that was all it took. One showed up for one rehearsal, and we were all like, yeah, that guy's in.
And that's crazy because I've seen Jeff play it. I never actually met him.
Yeah.
And Derek Joseph was looking for a guitar player for some project or whatever, and I think that's how he got my name.
Okay.
Because I put it in there, said,
Crazy.
I'd be interested. So.
Oh, and we didn't hire you? Shame.
No, I don't think it. I learned all the songs, but I don't think it ever.
And you learned all the songs?
Yeah, I learned. The first 10 I think they sent me. So.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it.
It never did take off. So.
Okay. We weren't aware of this.
Yeah. Kept in the dark.
Derek Joseph, if you're listening, you're in trouble.
No, that's all right.
KC, what's your first moment in the scene?
Well, I had a good friend of mine that I kind of grew up with, and obviously when you're too young to actually have bands, you do seek people out that like music. So, we always messed around in rooms playing acoustics together and things like that. He introduced me to a guy he met named Ed Simpson. And he was from Ohio, kind of a military brat, moved around. And he was a very progressive player, and it caught my attention. And we made some demos at his house on his little 4-track, some things that he had written. And I just wrote some lyrics and did some vocals on it. And,
one of those cassette 4-tracks, like a Tascam?
Yeah, so it turned out well enough that he sent it off to some good buddies of his in Ohio, and they all moved here that he had already played with.
Interesting.
And then it became this thing. We were called Aria back in the day.
Was the fact that it was also Memphis based, inspiration to come move because of the scene?
I would say no.
Okay.
He just had some good friends, and because he's a military brat, obviously he's made friends in multiple places. But they decided, hey, that sounds good enough. Let's go to Memphis and do something. So we ended up in a band, and before you know it, we're hitting the scene. So.
Early 80s, mid 80s?
No. This was definitely early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's the 90s when you start breaking it.
Yep. So
Okay.
91 was probably our first show, I would say.
So did the style of the band match that era more, or were you still doing the hard rock stuff?
We were very much progressive, maybe a little more Rush oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They were.
With some early Dream Theater type
Nice.
stuff going on. We had a keyboard player, so the Dream Theater style was definitely there.
Good players.
I did have some good players,
Yeah.
for sure. And it was so much fun because we played with all the great up and coming bands during that time. Roxy Blue.
Oh, man.
There you go.
Akasha was playing. The Chosen. I don't know if you remember those guys.
I remember
Mott
that.
and, yep.
You got to talk to Jeff about anything prior to 2011. That's Jeff's place because that's when I moved out here.
So it was a hopping time in Memphis. A lot of original music, and we had a lot of original material ourselves. But
did you bounce around at all with some gigging, like gigging just locally, or were you kind of branching out?
We did have a couple of gigs in Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
That was about as far as we ever got to reach out there. Social media wasn't the thing then.
Sure.
So, you either pushed yourself well or you didn't.
MySpace wasn't even existing yet.
Right.
Oh,
so,
wow. MySpace.
we didn't do as good a job as we probably should have to get our name out. But
first band.
yeah.
So influences. Who? Okay, we'll jump back to KG.
Kiss.
Wow, that name.
Never heard of them.
No, it's just. I mean,
I hear they're
I played my
retiring.
tennis racket. I played the whole Kiss Alive album probably every day of my time being 15 and 16.
I used to play a tennis racket to Weird Al Yankovic. No lie.
I don't know that I would have admitted that on the
Oh
air.
well.
Yeah. I'm pretty comfortable
Yeah.
looking and sounding like an ass.
Honestly, that's
on this
not the
podcast.
strangest things you've said up to this point.
So, silly question. What about Kiss caught your attention? You know, some people, they see the album cover. They're like, I don't even know what the music is, but I want that.
Gotta
I
check it
liked
out.
the music. I liked. I loved the makeup and everything. And then as I got older, I loved Ace Frehley's guitar playing. I mean, it's just I have a big influence. Ace Frehley, Angus Young, stuff like that. I'm not a shredder or anything. I just like to play, sit back there and just play.
Just hitting that pentatonic, right?
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
Stay in the box.
Yeah.
It's an art form to use that same scale over and over and sound creative with each solo.
I don't know if I sound creative, but I do use the same licks every time.
Hey, at least you're consistent.
Yes.
Yeah. How about vocals for you, Casey?
Well, I say, Kiss, I think, had an influence on everybody at a younger age back in our day, because I remember trying to be Kiss with friends, paint ourselves up, get on the fireplace.
What were you? Were you Paul Stanley?
I would be whoever someone else didn't want to be. I didn't care. They were all cool to me, Yeah, so Judas Priest, and they did I don't know if you recall a Metal Shop show that was on the radio years and years ago, but the very first time I heard Queen of the Reich from Queensryche,
Oh, man.
it just blew my hair back when I had hair.
I was going to say.
And
It must have
right
been
off.
a while.
and from then there was just this love affair with Jeff Tate, obviously.
Yeah.
Jeff Tate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I believe he is coming back
To Lafayette.
in 2024.
March, I believe.
Yeah.
Lafayette's again?
Yeah.
Did you get us tickets?
Not yet. I might have to do that.
I saw him on the first show at Lafayette's, and it was fantastic.
I saw him this year.
You're responsible, Jeff, because I want to talk about what it's like for you guys working for Jeff as a boss.
Oh.
I mean, because he's constantly.
Am I really a boss?
Yeah. I mean, he bitches about you guys, and they won't listen to me, and
That's it. I'm out here.
I'm saying Derek's trying to get me fired.
no, for real. What's it like working for Jeff Ward?
Easy.
Yeah, it's simple.
super simple.
And it doesn't feel like a job.
I don't even like to use the phrase
No.
"working for Jeff Ward." That's
No,
not-
I'm
He's
kidding with that.
He's
but-
extremely prepared.
But I am proud of my brother here, because it is something he started.
Yeah.
So it's something to be said about kind of starting your own thing.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
keeps the ball rolling for us.
Absolutely.
So
I'm telling you, no better person than Jeff, because he is on top of things. He doesn't, drag his feet on stuff
Mm-mm.
to a fault, I must add.
Sometimes it is definitely a bad thing.
We've had a few discussions on,
Slow
with the,
down.
I
with
get
the
that.
mics off, being like, hey,
Yeah.
man, probably shouldn't talk about that yet.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I get a little anxious
yeah.
at times.
especially on Facebook. But
So, Jeff Tate is, I don't know that there could possibly be a better vocalist to try to emulate.
yeah,
or-
if
or,
you
know.
love rock and you like to kind of lean in the progressive way, Queensryche was it.
Yeah.
I mean, they did so much iconic music.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
was-
even funny.
it was
he sets a
pretty-
high bar, too.
Oh yeah,
There's that. I don't know if you've seen it, but on YouTube, there's a video of them doing "Take Hold of the Flame," and there's this female vocal coach that is watching it. And when it gets to that point to where he hits that insane note,
Yeah, her
she's just like,
reactions-
"Oh my
Yep,
god, that's
yep.
pretty amazing." So, Mr. Greenburg, guitar influences. Who do you really?
Eh,
I mean, I know you mentioned Angus Young or
Ace
AC/DC,
Frehley.
but
yeah,
Ace Frehley.
David Gilmour,
ah,
real melodic players.
Sure.
I like Michael Schenker.
Yeah.
Old school stuff like the UFO, Thin Lizzy, things
Okay.
like that.
no, not really any progressive stuff in your wheelhouse like Rush or any of
Rush
that.
is. I looked at my Spotify. It's the most played artist. I listen to Rush every Sunday,
Okay,
all day long.
Good for you.
Especially when we're out by the pool.
Yeah.
The kids know when they come over. It's Rush.
right.
You
Yeah.
got a Rush day.
That's
It's
awesome.
That's
it's Rush
cool.
Day. And
That's
they
great.
try to take over my speaker.
There's
very cool.
But no, I love all that stuff. But as far as my style,
right.
it's not real progressive. I like to play it, but I just more blues rock, stuff like that. Big Joe Bonamassa fan.
Oh, okay.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
So
there's rumblings out there about Rush going back out. You guys seen that?
I saw it with Chad Smith not Chad Smith. Who was the other guy?
There's been all kinds of rumors. It could Portnoy or Smith.
Well, I heard with Michael Mangini being out
of Dream Theater.
Dream Theater.
That would be a great fit.
Sure would.
When Chad Smith, you might want to edit that out. I can't.
No.
Apologize.
We only edit out when I make a mistake. You guys are
You're stuck.
Yeah, no, just kidding.
You know, Rush couldn't stay out of the limelight. You see what I did there?
Oh,
You got to
right.
play sound.
Oh yeah!
I don't know if that one made sense, but
That's funny.
but yeah, I mean, they're going to sell out every
Of
place
course they
they
will.
play.
Mhm.
Of course they will.
And then I think everyone should be on board with that. Maybe there's some purists like, no, you can't do it without. Come on,
Yeah.
let's keep the music alive. Keep it going.
I'm kind of that leaning on that purist side because I was such a huge fan of Neil. It's just hard for me to envision anybody else.
But you're
doing
celebrating
that.
his life too.
Sure, and I totally get that. And I never got to see Rush live.
Same here.
So
Oh,
if they
no,
do,
really?
if
I'm
they
guessing you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it on a Sunday?
Yeah, it was in my room with my tennis racket.
Yeah. But if they do put something together with someone else, I will go
Mhm.
one way or another because to have never seen them before, if I ever get that chance again, I'll make it happen.
So KG, what show did? How many did you go to, and what were the tours?
I saw the first one I saw was Moving Pictures, 1982, at the Coliseum.
Oh, wow, that's the
Insane.
Max
that's the-
Webster opened up for him. It was, and I was fourth row. I mean, I was right there,
Oh, wow.
and
Nice.
it was awesome. And then I saw, I think when there was the Snakes and Arrows tour,
Yeah.
saw that one. I sat really crappy seats then, but
Yeah.
man, right up front was. I mean, that's probably my most favorite concert I ever saw.
Yeah. To geek out on gear for a moment.
Go for it.
Neil, his R40 drum kit is one of the most beautiful and iconic drum kits that he ever played. And they made a limited number of snares from that kit, DW did. And since Neil passed away, people are asking $10,000, $12,000 for these snares.
Wow.
If you can get a hold of one. So I'll never own one. When they first came out, you could pick one up for $1,400, $1,200, $1,400, which at that time was still outrageous.
Yes,
But now it's in the several
five
thousands.
digits, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's insane.
That is wild.
But it is one of the most sought after snare drums for drummers. That's, he's such an iconic player and we all want one of those, but I don't have 10 grand laying around for a snare. Maybe Jimmy Fulp will pick one up for me.
That's right, Jimmy.
What you gonna do?
A little wrestling for my buddy Jimmy.
So, gear wise, Mr. Greenburg, what do you prefer to play as far as guitar, amps, all that good stuff? Are you a gear nerd?
I have a problem with it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
you're somewhere
I'm
around.
sure your wife reminds you of this.
Yes. I hope she's not listening. Oh, this is not. No, but I like. I'm a Fender Strat guy, and I played Mesa Boogie forever, and now I've switched over to a Magnetone and PRS guitars, and just man, it's just hard to put that combination down. So
PRS seems to be a huge label for so many guitar players. They have, when I was younger in this scene in Memphis, it was all Kramer and Ibanez. And I don't know when PRS came on the scene, but it seems like that's what everybody wants now. They're just
I said I would always play Fender.
Yeah.
That's all. And I played PRS, and I was like,
You were hooked.
I'm hooked now.
Done
like,
deal.
I get it.
So KG, tell us, how many guitars do you own?
Not very many, about 10.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not a lot compared to some of my friends that have lots of guitars.
Right.
Matt Montgomery
Oh,
says
yeah.
you got to get off your ass and
Yes.
get to work, son.
Yeah, I've seen his. I saw him last night at the Barcade show, but
Cool.
I should have gone up there and said something because I saw his most recent picture, and I'm like, my gosh.
I don't know what the particular guitar is that he's got, but it's the red, white, and blue. Looks like it's got an American flag on the front of it, but you can still see the wood
Oh, yeah.
coming through the
I'm not
the
sure
paint.
what that is.
I don't know if it's a PRS or a Gibson, but whatever it is, the thing is probably, in my opinion, the most beautiful guitar I've seen of his, and that's saying something.
He
'cause
has
good
a
God,
collection.
He's got a lot.
Have you seen pictures of Supernova Studios?
Yes.
Yeah.
He
All the
has
amps.
amps and walls of guitars, and then he has that at home too.
That's just insane.
So would your obsession be on pedals and amps?
Yes, I like pedals and amps pretty
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
Pedals. It always seems like, guitar players are just...
I know, chasing the tone. I mean, I've got more pedals than I'll ever need.
Yeah.
A new one comes out, got to have it.
Yes.
Do all of yours work?
Yes.
Okay.
All of them.
Because
I think
I know where that's going.
you know where I'm going with this.
Of course.
Our other guitar player, Mr. Cobble, who is not here to defend himself.
And never is, because we tease him a lot. We tease him a lot, but
Yeah.
we love Jeff.
We do
Oh, I
love
love him. He's a character. He is a character.
Oh man, I can't tell you the number of times I've been at rehearsal with him and something doesn't work on that pedal board and he's down there screwing with it. And I'm like, Jeff, fix that.
Yeah. I mean, it's plywood with bread ties.
It is.
It's part of his
No,
tone.
bread ties.
Yeah, plywood's part of his tone. So
Yes.
yeah.
We love you, Cobbs.
So let's talk Gen X.
All right.
What have these rehearsals been like? How's it been?
Few.
Yeah. So to date, how many shows have y'all played?
We played two shows. And there's been quite a few rehearsals. We rehearsed at Cobble's house a few times.
Really?
Yep, early on. And then Greg Wilson, who we know from Facebook, was kind enough to offer us his space behind his house.
And
to
that's
rehearse.
down here in Hernando, correct?
It is Church Road. I don't think it's really Hernando.
Nesbitt-ish, kind of, whatever. South Haven.
South
Haven.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he was kind enough to offer us that, and we've rehearsed there several times. We've kind of taken a little bit of a break since it's the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as we get through Christmas and New Year's, we will be back hard at it because we've got gigs booked for next year, and we actually need to have 3 sets of material.
Well,
Yes.
Great Scott!
we're recording this on December 10th.
Yeah.
For context, and y'all are playing tonight. Oh no! That's contraband.
That's
contraband.
right. A week. It'll be the 17th is when we're playing.
Yes.
All good. All good. It happens. So,
I've been to both, and you guys are awesome.
well, thank you.
Wow.
I appreciate
And
that.
for real, show number 1 across the board, everyone was like, "Damn, they came out punching! Like you guys came out sounding just on point and rehearsed.
Yeah.
It was great."
We were excited. I mean, I
Yes.
think that had a lot to do with it.
And that was at Hadley's opening up for Fever Tree.
And
was.
I was going to mention Fever Tree and once again tell them thanks for allowing us to have that opportunity.
Yeah,
because
what
it
an
was
honor for the first show
Yeah,
to
it
come
was
out
a-
like that, you know?
Yeah, that was good stuff.
a ton of fun. We had such a great crowd there. Probably do way more to Fever Tree than it was us. But
Definitely.
thank God that they allowed us to do that and get that exposure because there was a lot of people there that probably never would have heard of us if not for that.
Agreed.
Oh, that's why you do it, And
Yeah.
benefits, we all do it for the right reasons,
Yep.
but it does give bands opportunities to kind of get out there.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All you got to do is learn a set, right? A good way to jump in and get in front of eyeballs and,
Yep.
and play for the bar and the owner and everything. So let's talk songs. What's the style? Anyone that's hearing about this band for the first time, what can they expect?
You know, so far I would say that we're trying not to do the mainstays of some of the other cover bands in town. And, you know, not to say that's a bad thing.
But you
It's
want to
just-
be different.
Yeah, we want to do some material that, you know, not a lot of people are playing. You know,
Yeah.
some Fuel and some Puddle of Mud and, you know, just some off the wall things that are definitely in someone's playlist from
Mm-hmm.
that era. You know,
And
late
that's
80s and
stuff
early
I
90s.
never played. I
Yeah.
never
It's never
played
played.
any of that.
Yeah, the stuff you're playing is what I grew up with in my teens and late teens and
Right.
early 20s. That's my era for sure.
And we'll have a handful of songs that you just can't get away from.
We'll name some of
So,
the bands
well,
that
I mean,
are the songs you do.
Collective Soul Heavy.
Yep.
That's a very popular song. We're not the only band that does that song, but it's such a great tune that it's hard to leave out.
Mm-hmm.
There, we do a Pearl. We're going to do Jeremy by Pearl Jam.
Nice.
You know, and that's another one that.
I got to talk to Jason. He needs that 12-string bass.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what's up there.
Wow, that has a 12-string bass in it.
Yes.
I did not know
Bow,
that.
down, down, bow, bow.
Wow.
And those harmonics.
Yeah.
Bow,
I had no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, so each, like a 12-string guitar, each string has its accompanying guitar. Well, bass, it's like a piano. It's 3 strings per E.
That's
A,
crazy.
B, G. Yeah, it's a bitch to play.
I bet Kenley Wolf has one that we can borrow.
Oh, for sure. And there's a whammy bar on that thing too. Oh man.
So yeah, that's what we're going for. It's 90s rock. You've heard all the bands, Pearl Jam and Collective Soul,
STP,
and Stone Temple Pilots. Yeah, a lot of that. But we're trying to do. I don't necessarily think we could call it deep cuts, but they're not everyday songs that you hear all the time either. Somewhere in the middle.
So we're going to put something out on Front Street here,
Yep.
so we can be honest. It's sort of like I'm going to facilitate a band meeting. I'm going to start with you, KG.
Okay.
What song do you hate playing that you wish was off the set list?
I bet there's one or two.
Who wants to know your favorite? I want to know the one that you just like. When you look at the set list and you're like, oh man.
Oh, let's see. There's none that I would cut because I like them. Because
it's all new to you.
When these came out, I was playing with a band called The Trust. We were playing like Big Head Todd and the Monsters.
Oh yeah.
Just not that stuff and I didn't get a chance to listen to it. So it's really all new to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it all. I think my favorite song that we do is.
You don't have to be nice because you're next to your boss.
No, I'm just trying to think because I like all of them. A Careless Whisper by Seether. I'd never played that song.
Okay.
And that's probably my favorite song.
Nice.
Oh, so you really love that one.
I do.
I do. It's fun. And it goes over well. People seem to really
just
dig
different. I mean, I'd heard the George Michael and I just I didn't know a band did that song.
I'll tell you one that I'm really excited about doing is the Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. We're gonna
try to
do
doctor
it
that
in
one
a
up.
different version.
I want to hear these guys' opinion on that.
Yeah, I wanted to hear it too.
For me, it's still a
because you have to sing
weird
it.
concept. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
He will
how
sing
are
the
we going
fire.
to make that sound?
He'll sing.
What's that going to end up like?
If you had hair, you can make it all multicolored.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can make it work, and it could be really fantastic, or it could be just really, hey, what do we do here?
But when you reform something and make it a hard rock version, it often translates well.
I agree.
It's
I
cool.
agree.
Well, and was it you, Kevin Greenburg, that told me the other day to go out and check out the version that you had heard by another band?
Yes.
What was the band that redid it? Sorry, putting you on the spot.
I can't remember now.
But it's a great version, and I think that's the route we're going to go with it. Now, Kevin Cost, you did send a text telling us to take one off the list. Which one was it? I think it was a Spin Doctor.
Little Miss Can't Be
Yeah.
Wrong.
Oh, yes.
You did not want to do that song.
I did not want to do it. It's really not in my wheelhouse,
Yeah.
and it's not probably in my top 18,000 songs.
Formerly known as played it last night.
They sure did.
They did, and it can be rocked.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sound like us, in my opinion.
I get you.
Yeah.
It is a deviation from Stone Temple Pilots.
Yes.
I agree.
So on the positive, what gets your juices flowing as far as
I'm loving everything we do, but like he's saying, we're young enough in our process. We're kind of cutting them as we're determining what to learn. So nothing on our list needs to go. We like it all.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
but what's your favorite?
Wow. Favorite? That's tough to say, really.
Is there one that challenged you in a different way?
I would say the probably. No, what's the one song from? I can't remember the name of the band now. The Cult.
Oh,
That
She
song was
Sells
a little,
Sanctuary.
that song was a little bit challenging for me at first.
Cool.
Yeah.
But,
And now we've added Firewoman to the list.
We have.
That's going to be fun.
yeah, that will be fun. Kevin Greenberg's going to sing that one.
I can sing Wildflower. That's the only two songs. I mean, I sang two songs. So
Well, it's good to know.
I'll
We'll
pull
add
the
that
Sean
too.
Pugh and say, "You want to sing? Go, let this guy
sure.
Does Cobble sing anything?
No. We don't even cut his mic on.
We need to get Jeff Ward a mic, and he needs to learn how to play
I
and sing
would
at
have
the
to
same
agree
time.
with you.
Ugh.
Yeah,
You saw All I'm Capable of last night, sir.
it was good.
It's the reason for saying that.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
play and sing at the same time. Jacob Turner is a freak.
So for context, as we record this last night was Jeff's 30th anniversary with his wife.
Right.
Celebrated at Hadley's, formerly known as, had him come up to surprise Susan.
Right.
with what song again?
When I See You Smile.
And what was great is I think me and Susan were the only ones in there that really knew he sang. So everyone thought it was super sweet, but also like, damn, Jeff can sing.
I'm sorry I missed that.
He actually sings.
He sings. He can only do like 1.5 songs before his
Voice is gone. Toast. Yeah.
Plus, you were well juiced up.
I have a huge respect for singers like my brother here, Kevin Cost,
Yes.
who can get up there and do 3 sets
Yes.
and command that for an entire evening.
It doesn't come without rehearsing, though.
Sure.
You've got to keep that vocal strong.
Do you do vocal exercises?
I do a lot of rehearsal at home, and we do obviously do that a lot anyway, because we'll get 5 or 6 songs together at home and then come together and make sure we can play them. But I do a lot of rehersal at home.
We don't make sure that we can play them. We make sure that Cobble can play them.
Poor Cobble. But you woodshed. You just hitting it at home. Yeah. See,
you
that's
can't
what
just
professionals do.
Right. You can't just sit around between gigs and do nothing.
No, I run the set 3 times a week at least, front to back, everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
As of now, then I'll start rehearsing the other stuff.
Well, I can assure you, you're doing more than anybody else in the band at this point.
I have no life.
Too busy buying pedals and.
But it shows every time we come to rehearsal that he's on top of it. He kills it. I'm back there going, okay, what do I do now?
But we all know what he does on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sit out by the pool, drink beer, and bust a rush.
Look, we're going to
Nice.
have you back in the summer, and we're going to give the entire audience your address.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have a pool party.
All right.
Listen to some Rush.
Cannonball!
Cannonball.
That's a sound I need to get
It is.
from
Yeah.
Anchorman.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Writing. I know you, KG, mentioned your band back in the day was you were a cover.
Yeah, I've been in some original.
Okay.
I was with Pangea for a couple of years.
Okay.
We did a couple records. The Trust, we put out a couple records, and that's been about the only original stuff that we did. I was in a band back with actually, I guess it was in the '80s. Trash Cadillacs. That was '90s with Zeph Paulson, Jimmy Rogers,
That's another great band.
John Davis, and Tadpole was our singer. He unfortunately passed away a long time ago. But we did original stuff. We actually got to record in Sun Studio. They
Nice.
Hell yeah.
they just had us come in, and if you've never done it, it's probably the best live room to record in altogether. It's so tight, and it's just amazing if you've never played in there.
Well, why don't you use some of your connections to get us in there?
Okay.
And we'll do that.
That would be super cool.
Or get them in here. Like, I'd
Yeah.
love to talk to whoever's in charge over there.
Yeah,
Talk whoever it would be to talk history of Sun Studios would
No
be
doubt.
fascinating.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. And we did some stuff in a band called Doc Rocket, which we did a bunch of original stuff. But we played stage stuff. We actually played for a tab. We opened for darn near every band in Memphis just for a bar tab.
So you're a part of that whole stage stop.
Absolutely. Cut my
Community
teeth
too.
there.
Nice.
So that bar tab, is that part of the reason that they're out of business, closed down?
Yeah,
You guys drank everything?
that's right. That's right. I had a lot of good times in that place, man.
Yeah.
How
Lot of good
about
times.
you, Casey? Stage stop, was that a frequent place for you?
It was from about 90 to about 97. We lived there.
Yeah.
I mean, we were there constantly.
So it was still pumping through the 90s.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Nita had us in probably once a month to play and headlined there. And on occasion, we would just get us an easy gig and open up for Akasha or Chosen or somebody like that.
Akasha.
Nice. Did
Yeah.
any of you guys get the squirt gun?
No, luckily
Our
I
singer
knew
did.
I knew to keep the F-bomb out
Yeah.
of my mouth.
Okay,
So,
context, please.
Yeah, she used to have a water gun, and if you
Drop
shouted
the
out the
F-bomb.
F-bomb, you were getting squirted.
Yeah.
while
Just
you're on
like spraying a
stage.
cat.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Our singer got sprayed many, many times.
So she wasn't down with the cussing on stage?
No, she didn't care for it too much.
Yeah.
Mama Nita.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's cool. And most singers are like, well, shit, what am I going to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was second mother to a lot of folks.
You hear
absolutely.
Yeah.
that. You hear that. And she would also be, I guess stern, but honest.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely.
About, hey,
she had your best interest at heart.
even
all
if
the
it
time.
was a hard thing to say, like,
Oh,
maybe,
yeah.
like
Tough love.
critiquing.
Yeah.
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 But that's why everyone just loves her so much.
Oh, absolutely.
So much respect for her. And I hope there's a second reunion
Yes,
You know?
we're pushing hard for that.
Yes. And I want Akasha there.
Yeah.
Lance Binder, our friend Lance Binder,
Yes.
bass player from Area 51,
Yeah.
brought Akasha. He talked about it on his episode, but then he has a new channel that they're for the band. They're pushing out this reunion show they did that was professionally filmed and recorded.
Right.
Sounds amazing.
Mhm.
I'm like, these guys need to come to Memphis.
For sure.
They got to come back.
They were great. From the moment we heard those guys, we were like, wow, these guys are really cool.
If you like King's X,
Yes.
I'm telling you.
They had some great original material.
Yes. And they had a killer crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's wearing band shirts. You know,
Yeah.
they definitely had a following.
Super high energy.
And this was out in Texas.
Yep. All
Yeah,
three of them.
super
were
high energy with Lance Binder. Who knew?
Right. Jeez, you know, like
He's a very calm guy. On
he's a
stage.
5-tool player. Yeah. That's the best way I can put Lance.
Yeah, so we used to hang out at their band house quite a bit back in the day, and we just had a lot of memories with
Awesome.
those guys. So
Yeah, Lance is a good guy.
So cool. So KC, I know that you have some original material that you have written, and you recently shared some of that with the rest of the Gen X band.
yeah, so kind of during my hiatus away from really the music scene, Aria in January, my early bands were really about it.
Yeah.
Now in 2001, I was lucky enough to be a founding member of the St. Jude Children's Hospital Band.
Okay.
Oh,
So
that's
it's-
right.
yeah, so
you
we're-
told me about this.
Yeah, so we were employees, and St. Jude was going to do a sort of a Woodstock themed cookout for everyone, all the employees. And then we're going to hire a band to do Woodstock era music. So myself and a gentleman by the name of Keith Daniel, we said, you know what? We know enough musicians here in the workplace. We think we can put a band together, and we did.
Did you eat acid?
No, we tried to stay away from that on campus there at St. Jude. But
Time and place.
right. So that took up a little bit of my time in between kind of doing that. I gigged around with those guys for about 6 years, and we got to play some really cool places. But
That's a good run.
yeah, but after that, I kind of hooked back up with some of my old bandmates. Ed Simpson, the guy that was in Aria in January with me, he's still here in town, and we would write some things together, and we found some musicians, and we would write some stuff, but we always stayed in the rehearsal room. We never got past that. So
Right.
finding musicians that really want to get out and play is kind of tough to do, really.
Yeah. And without the motivation to get a gig, it kind of fizzles.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm kind of a gearhead myself, so I started looking into buying, audio workstation stuff for home use.
Oh, let's
And
talk about this.
Well,
Yes. What do you
you know,
So, do
and-
you demo at home? Do you?
I have, and the last thing I actually put out myself was probably 6-7 years ago. But I did go through a period of about 3 or 4 years where I would write my own stuff and record it. As horrible as it probably was played, it was still
putting
fun
together
to-
drum tracks.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
it all. Just having fun with it. So
So, any rumblings in the band, Gen X, to
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
collaborate?
I did post one of my songs, and they were kind enough to say they liked it well enough to try it. So
Oh, for sure.
maybe we'll
Work it up.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
what happens.
I'm gonna be reaching out to Mr. Fulp to see about getting in his studio
Yes.
and having him help us produce the thing, because to me that's one of the most important. It's every bit as important as the recording process is the producing. It's having somebody with that mind and that brain that can say, hey, let's try this here and let's do that over here. And because I don't have that talent at all.
That's why you have Jimmy
Yep.
and these producers out there that have that ear and talent for it
So yeah.
and creativity.
Yep. Definitely planning on contacting him and getting us in there to do a little work.
Sounds fun to me.
Yeah. It'll be a hoot.
Cobble, I know, is like a pogo stick right now. So excited about that.
Oh yeah. 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 We'll have to harness that energy.
Good luck.
Yeah, I think the music scene here in Memphis is definitely making a turn back toward original music, it seems. So,
Yeah.
It seems to be, and you've got so many great original bands here that we've talked about, Fast Mothers and Fever Tree and so many, Elevation
hmm
doing their original thing. And
Which has been exciting for me to jump into
absolutely.
an amazing cover band. And then we got the Tina tribute thing, but they're also a cool original band.
Yeah,
They have
absolutely.
6 songs released right now. And
Yeah.
we actually just did a showcase at B-Sides for Woman in Memphis Music, and all original. So we got to do all 6 songs. It was fun.
Wow.
so cool.
Yeah. And that's kind of a first for me in that way. I had no part of the writing.
Right.
Hopefully in future songs, that will be a really cool learning experience for me because I'm cover band.
Well, see if they'll- see
That's
if
all
they'll-
I've ever done.
Maybe
Yeah.
they'll record a country tune.
Yeah, sure.
You can work on that.
I will quit. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding, LaShawn and Melanie. Just kidding.
So I don't know. Throw us out another question, Derek.
Put
I'm
me on the
drawing a blank.
No, this is the one I should throw your way.
I hate you.
So, as far as your original music, give us an idea of kind of where you drew influence from for writing the original side of things.
It's
Is it?
I guess it's just a culmination of everything that's been put in my ear. I don't really know how else to explain that. I would say it's probably a little more on the progressive side just because I listen to a lot of off the wall music
Right.
coming up, a lot of things that didn't necessarily get radio play.
Yeah.
So that's probably where it comes from. But my inability to actually play guitar and bass and drums and all that kind of limited me a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah.
Probably would have done more if I could have. But
Sometimes it's those songs that didn't necessarily make the radio that are the greatest songs out there.
The B-sides,
I
the
would agree
album
with that.
cuts.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Some of them become iconic without ever being released as a single. I think Led Zeppelin's a prime example of that.
Sure.
They had singles, but then back when FM played album cuts too, they weren't released as singles, but iconic songs,
Right.
and then the deep cuts are always special.
Well, some of that early Dream Theater, no one really knew what that was. The
Yeah.
earliest stuff, even before they had James LaBrie as a singer.
Well, we all knew we couldn't do it.
Yeah, but
God Almighty.
but as a musician, it was fun to listen to. And,
Yeah.
I probably listened to that more so because of my bandmates in Aria in January than I would have myself. But I'm glad they introduced me to that side of music because, I gained some influence from it for sure.
Yeah.
Must have been interesting for Mike Mangini. That must be tough when it seemed like everything was going fine.
Yeah.
Like no, who knows what goes on.
Yeah,
behind
we
the
certainly
scenes.
don't know everything that.
But
could have
I'd love to
happened.
know how that all went down with
Yeah.
Mike Portnoy coming back in, and then it's just like, sorry, man, we love you, but
Yeah.
Mike's coming back, founding member, so
Right.
it makes sense. And I know the statement that Mike put out there was positive
Mm-hmm.
and nice and everything, but that must suck. It's gonna be
Yeah,
tough.
I read that. I was like, oh,
It's got to be tough.
I would imagine Portnoy had more to do with the writing process than they probably let on. So that's why they wanted
Yeah.
him back.
Yeah, big time. Like
Yeah.
the Winery Dogs and all the projects he
Yeah.
does with Billy Sheehan,
Mm.
all the other stuff. He's definitely a writer too. I think that's why he likes being in so many different projects. Get that creative flow out there. Did you guys like Winery Dogs?
loved them.
Yeah.
That first album.
They did have some cool music. for
So
sure.
are they done?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
no,
I don't know if they're done or if Portnoy's going to continue to do that as well. But yeah, I love the winery.
I saw them in Nashville. They
Yeah.
were great.
Oh, is that when they played? What was the name of that place? Wild Horse, the Saloon.
Yes. Mhm.
Yes, I remember hearing about that show
Yes.
Mr. Me Show has played the Wild Horse Saloon.
several times.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I mean it's definitely mostly a cover band type of place,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then they have big acts like Styx had played there before, but
I saw Striper there.
nice.
It was really good. Good show.
Yeah, but it's changed now. But back when I was playing it, it was the sweetest gig. It was just 60-minute set, all in ears. I didn't have to bring an amp. The guitar players did, but they had to put them in ISO boxes, right? So for me, strap a bass on my back and I'm in,
Yeah.
set
Wow,
up.
yeah.
And we played there enough where we were, they saved our scene, sound check, 10 minutes, done. It was great.
Wow.
Yeah. But now they've switched it up and it's a different name now. I can't remember.
Oh, really?
It's a country artist.
I didn't know that.
Dude, that's what
I do remember.
Broadway is turning into, Disneyland,
Yeah.
and all the big artist names are throwing their name and brand on
Mhm.
all of the bars down there.
Yeah.
All of them. So you got Jason Aldean's, you got
Right.
Kid Rock's place.
Kid Rock's place, and it's on and on. Big and Rich
Right.
has one. They all
Garth
have one.
Brooks is about to have one.
Yep.
So,
Turning into Branson, Missouri. And
all right, I'm fixing to get you guys out of trouble
how's this?
because if I don't say this, you're going to forget and you're going to be in big trouble. You got to tell everybody who you're married to because wives put up with this crap and they put up with musicians and they deserve to be recognized. So, Kevin Greenburg, what's your wife's name? How long you been married? And how do you still have a place to live?
Sissy Greenburg, my soulmate. Been married, it'll be 34 years next Saturday.
Awesome.
So I met her playing on Beale Street.
All right.
Our guitar player introduced me. And the story she'll tell you, she goes, she met me in March. I moved in May, married her in December. That's our story.
Nice.
Still at it.
I got married within 6 months of meeting my wife. So yeah, when it's right, it's just right. So, Kevin Cost?
My wife, Marnie Cost, thank you for putting up with me and being one of my biggest fans. And she's always been behind me in music. So
That's awesome.
we kind of met back in the days when I used to play back then too. So
Right.
She always knew that was as much a part of me as anything.
Sure.
So
Well,
she's put up with me.
I have to thank both of them for allowing this band to take up so much of your free time, because I know that's tough, man. Musicians, they go rehearse and they miss some things at home because they want to be doing what they love. So
Now I'm going to punch in because sometimes people feel bad about not talking about other people, and I think your bass player should probably get some love. We've talked about Cobble.
This is true.
Too much.
Yes, we
Jason.
Yeah, but I bet Jason doesn't want us to talk about him the same way we've been talking about Cobble.
We probably, Cobble warrants that, right?
So I'll real quick tell you how I met Jason.
Okay.
Several years ago, Jason was in a cover band that I cannot remember the name of. Forgive me. Somehow I was they needed a drummer. And it was Gee Whiz. Jason goes by Gee Whiz. I don't think he likes that, but we're going to say it anyway.
Gee Whiz.
Gee Whiz.
Hey, Gee Whiz.
He and Trent Wilkerson, who was a singer, and the guitar player's name was Tim. And Tim has passed away. Tim was also in Thump Daddy.
Okay.
And he passed away a few years ago. And somehow my name got thrown to them as a drummer. They called me. I've learned a bunch of songs, went and auditioned, got the gig, and I think we might have played 3 shows together before everything just fell apart. Other things happened. It's just there was no reason for it. It just I think maybe Trent, I think his kids were getting to be of the age where he needed to be dad and spend a lot of time at home and just didn't have time. So that's how I met Jason. He was a great bass player, and when I decided to put this project together, he was the first person I reached out to. And
great player.
Yeah, great player.
So quiet, just the night.
He shows up. He does his part. He knows his parts.
Absolutely.
He's great stage presence. Can sing some harmonies.
Yep.
He does some of that for us, and he's just a great player. And we're just thrilled to have him on board. And even though Cobble keeps telling me to get rid of him, I'm trying to. No, just kidding, Jason.
No, but I thought he was great too.
Yeah.
I think he's great. Yeah.
Yeah, he and Jason make a great rhythm section.
Absolutely.
I've had to tell them that before. So
Well, I appreciate it. I know Jason does too. But I owe, and I've said this before, I owe a lot of my experience to the guy sitting across the table from me. Yeah. But I learned a lot.
Well, we'll say I helped mold Jeff a little bit. And by that, I mean hairy eyeballs, some talking tos.
Oh, there were times when I thought something was going to get thrown at me across the stage.
well, we're married. Try again.
Yeah. I thought you were going to throw some things too at one point.
Yeah.
But no, for real, we've always been honest with each other.
Yeah.
But Jeff was always open to my critiquing and
For sure.
and whatnot, because I'll be like, hey man, maybe put your kick over here.
Right.
That type of stuff. So.
Yeah.
Or maybe play the part right, you dumbass.
Yeah. Young Grasshopper has grown up to be
is that when he came over the set at you? You know, and then
That was the
form?
video I
No,
posted. That was great.
Speaking of, go ahead. I'll come back in.
Yeah, no, you had to have seen it. There was a video floating around of the bass player sets his bass down and just dives over the kit. I said that was you and me.
I love that famous video out there where the singer and the drummer start fist fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever see that one?
That is great.
Oh my God, they're thrown into the drums and it's so sloppy. And then the bass player
Keeps playing.
just standing there looking like, just another gig.
It's just typical.
God.
I got to make my money.
Yeah. All right,
And then
Kevin.
just sidesteps a little bit.
What were you
I was going to say Young Grasshopper when we played at Neil's,
Yep.
and your son came up there and played with us.
Oh, man, that was great.
That was
fun.
Let's talk about that.
That was a treat.
Yeah.
You told me to. I remember Jeff said, just keep keep him straight there. And Daniel looked straight ahead, was not doing it. He just played the crap. It was so good. So it was so good.
Talk about your son. And
that was a proud moment for me. My son, Daniel, he is 24 years old, and he decided, I'm going to guess maybe 4 years ago, that he wanted to play. Maybe give or take a year or two. And he decided he wanted to follow in my footsteps and be a drummer, and he has come a long way. He puts in a lot of work at home, and he wanted to have a shot at playing live, and there was no better opportunity than my band to just let him sit in.
And I mean this in the nicest way. I was nervous for him.
I was too.
I didn't know what to expect.
Sure.
And just totally surprised and was like smiling.
Yeah.
The whole time. I was like, man, this kid is kicking it. Like,
it was.
It was great to see.
You know, I wasn't nervous for him because I didn't think he could do it. You're just nervous for those moments when you're very young as a musician.
But that's a lot of pressure.
There's pressure, and you never know what might go wrong.
Yeah.
Anything can go wrong.
Yeah.
And it's the seasoned players who have been there and dealt with that can just play through it. There's a video of Todd Suckerman from Styx. His snare, he blows a head off out of his snare, and his drum tech comes up, and they swap snares. The song never stops. A young musician would lose their mind if something like that happened.
Have you guys seen that video? Do you know Todd Suckerman?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Styx.
It's a classic video. All of a sudden, you hear the snare go, and he just, motions to his guy. He stands up, and then he takes one of his toms as the snare, and he's just jamming along.
Oh, yeah.
So the snare gets changed. He sits down, but then he has to get his pack tweaked. And
well, no, when he stood up, I read a post he made. When he stood up, his ears came unplugged.
Oh, so they had that.
So the whole time that they're doing that change, he's got nothing in his ear. He can't hear what's going on. And when you're using isolated, good molds, there is no ambient sound. You're cut off.
All while not missing a beat.
Never missed a beat. His drum tech gets it all swapped out. He sits down, gets plugged back in, and they're right back after it.
That's awesome.
So it is awesome. But that was my nervousness for Daniel. I didn't want him to have one of those moments of, oh my God. And he didn't. Everything was flawless, and he killed it.
And with all seriousness and coming from a genuine place, he has your foot, Jeff. That's some DNA he got from you, because I'll throw some real love. I pick on Jeff a lot, but from playing with him, the reason why I think I felt comfortable beating you up is because I know how good you are. Yeah. And that's that meter and that foot. That's you got that.
This guy's a pocket player,
right.
And you can't say that about every drummer.
And to see Daniel play the way he did, that's inheritance, man.
Right.
That's just
thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And Daniel thanks you. But it's and he's trying to put something together. He wants to play more, and he'll get there. It just takes time to find other musicians who want to put in the same amount of work that you do.
Yeah, just find some other kids his age, kids, 20-year-olds, to just make some noise. Yeah. Don't even think about trying to gig yet. Right. Just make some noise together and work it out.
Well, and it's great that this podcast has afforded me so many new acquaintances and friends that I can, when he's ready, Sean Few will let him sit in and play. Jacob will let him sit in and play a song, So he'll get those opportunities. He's just got to be ready and use it to his benefit.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I could do this for another hour, but we got to go. The fun has to end at some point, but we really appreciate y'all showing up, being here for us.
I've really enjoyed talking to you guys.
Yeah. And
looking forward to the future of Gen X with you guys. It's going to be a big 2024 for us. We're going to have a blast.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, more shows to come, and hopefully some full nights, where you guys are playing a full 3 hours.
It's coming.
It's a whole lot going on there. Poor JC is going to have to keep warming that voice up. Well, before we say our final goodbye, Jeff, let's, as we do, talk to our audience and thank them.
Yes.
For hanging out and sharing and commenting and liking the posts like you do and spreading the word. We appreciate it. Jeff and I get tickled pink, as my grandmother would say, when we're out in the wild checking out bands and you come up and talk to us. And we love it. We're there to talk. We're there to hang. So please come say hello.
We got to thank our band sponsors. We love Seeing Red, Jacob Turner and Land Divided, Sean Few and all of his wonderful bands. And who am I missing? There's one more that I'm missing. Look at you. See, you're supposed to be able to take up for me.
here's why. We're very transparent here.
Area 51.
Right.
Thank you.
But one of those bands isn't guaranteed for this season yet. So,
Oh, shit. I forgot we're in a new season. Okay. Who is it that's not guaranteed?
we're not going to go there. It's all good. I don't want to put them on the spot.
Yeah.
Great job, Alex.
But we do appreciate all of our. I'll just leave it that way. We love you. We love you, sponsors.
So publishing, we're every Wednesday mornings on Apple, Spotify, and all the audio platforms, and then every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central, YouTube, Facebook. Check it out. We got an Instagram page now at the Rhythm Section Pod. Go like that. And yeah, Jeff, I know. I didn't turn your mic off.
Is that thing on?
Oh, yeah. I see a red dot on your camera.
All right.
The lens is closed.
This is one time I was hoping you didn't turn it on. So.
therhythmsectionpod.com. That's your go-to spot for everything.
Yep.
And go see a band.
Yes.
Get out there. Go support, and it means the world to every musician when there's people in those seats, right?
Thank you, Kevin Greenburg. Thank you, Kevin Cost. We'll see you next time, folks.
All right, y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Care.